couple of items got cut out of the video from our review session this morning, and I wanted to make sure that they were covered. For instance, we reviewed variable types, and there were a few tricky ones that some people had some issues with. And I want to make sure that if you're viewing this later on, that you don't miss out on some easy points on the exam, because this really shouldn't be too difficult. Okay, for instance, this first question: which of the following are nominal or categorical variables? You can use those pretty much interchangeably. In other words, they define a variable that's either a category or a name. What's your country of origin? Well, clearly that's going to be a name. That's a nominal variable. Do you smoke? That's yes or no. Again, a nominal variable. Maybe it's easier to see, easier to interpret as calling it a category. Yes, a smoker, not a smoker, and so on and so forth. And those are the only two there that are nominal variables. How many siblings do you have? Well, that's a numerical variable. In this, it happens to be discrete numerical, but we're going to talk about that in a second. How many cups of coffee did you drink? So on and so forth. Okay, now let's go take a look at question 2. Which of the following are discrete numerical variables? Well, it's probably in the long run will not make that much difference. We're probably not going to discriminate between discrete numerical and numerical variables very much in this course, but it's worth knowing. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have. Country of origin, clearly there's not a number. How many siblings do you have? Well, that's a number, so that's a numerical variable. The question is it a discrete numerical variable? In statistics, we refer to discrete numerical variables as variables have values that are integers. So the number of siblings you have is going to be clearly an integer. You're not going to have 3.2 sisters or brothers or something like that. Maybe on the average, a certain population might have a certain number of children, for instance, 2.2 children per couple or something like that. That would be a numerical variable, right? But if we're asking you specifically, you're going to have a whole number or an integer. So that's a discrete numerical variable. Do you smoke? No, it's not going to be one. How many whole cups of coffee did you drink this week? We didn't ask about 2.7 cups. How many whole cups? So if you drank 7 cups of coffee this week, well, then we would know what we're dealing with. That's a discrete numerical variable. Blood pressure is on a continuous scale, so that would be a numerical variable, but not discrete. Even if you looked at it as, say, a blood pressure of 120, well, that's really a rounded number. It could be 120.1, 120.111, and so on and so forth. So it wouldn't be discrete, numerical, but not discrete. And let's take a look next at numerical variables that are not discrete variables. Okay, let's take a look at that. The average number of coffees you drank rather than the number of whole cups of coffee. The average number of coffees could be 7, could be 2, could be 3.3, and so on and so forth. So that kind of turns it into a numerical variable. Blood lead level for a child, so many micrograms per deciliter of blood. Okay, that's a numerical variable. Blood pressure, as we discussed, is a numerical variable. How many whole cups of coffee did you drink? It's a numerical variable, but we kind of set up here that we were going to exclude discrete numerical variables, so we didn't include that one. Okay, and finally, we're looking at ordinal variables. Well, ordinal variables are a scale, and on the scale, one result for the variable, one value for the variable, may be interpreted as greater or less than other values. For instance, how would you rate the MPH program? Excellent, good, fair, or poor? Well, that's an ordinal variable. There are categories. Each one of these are categories, but they have order. Excellent is better than good, is better than fair, is better than poor. On a scale of 1 to 10, what level of pain are you experiencing? Well, that also, you could say, well, gee, why isn't that a numerical variable? It's a scale of 1 to 10. We're asking them to answer on a whole number basis. Why is that not a numerical variable or even a discrete numerical variable? Well, because when we refer to the number, say, someone responds, well, the level of pain I have is 3, we really can't tell whether for that particular person, his 3 is the same as some other person's 3, okay? Or even if that person says, well, today it's 3, yesterday it was 4, whether the difference between 3 and 4 is the same as the difference between 7 and 6, even for that same person, right? So all we really know is the order, that something is greater than something else. So we would term this as being an ordinal variable, kind of a form of category, but a category with order. Okay, so that's the way we would deal with those.